Welcome everyone to episode number 23 of We Are Family. We had a big weekend of NFL. We've also had some interesting Pirates moves, and obviously Pitt basketball is still going strong. Had a huge
win. Oh, they're going so strong.
Going so strong. Yeah, after a 4-game
strong.
losing streak. Yeah. But anyway, let's just get started right now. We have the championship games, which featured the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Washington Commanders. So what are your guys' thoughts on those games before we head into the Super Bowl?
Well, before we get into the games, I want to congratulate a couple people on a couple things. Brian Cashman is the official winner of our game-by-game contest throughout the weeks, throughout the playoffs. Incredible stuff. By the way, our audio may sound a little different. We're having issues with these mics, but that's okay. We still love the Pittsburgh downtown media hub. Jake Bell's going to be all right.
Yeah, I'll be all right.
He'll be all right. But we can still hear each other. We just don't have the necessary SD card. But we want to congratulate Brian Cashman. I also want to congratulate Nathan Shivens winning the bracket. Him! Hang the banner! We're hanging a banner for you.
I forgot to bring...
We might be hanging some banners
I forgot to bring my Adam Frazier banner to hang for the podcast.
No, I got some paper. We'll hang it up.
So what am I? Second place for both picks and the bracket?
Well, unless the Chiefs win, I'll be in second place. But because me and Nate both have the Chiefs, no matter what, he's going to finish. And you had the Bills, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Cashman, great job. We'll have another version of picks next year. We'll probably do it a little differently, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, Nate, let's talk about this AFC Championship. Let's get into this.
I want to give a speech. Can I give a speech?
Go, please.
I want to thank my mother.
The Oscar, and then you go on to the Oscar music's like time to go off stage.
I just walk out.
Yeah.
I'm done. That's it. Like Tyler Beck yesterday. Shout out Tyler Beck.
We love Tyler Beck.
He was done after that
White
game.
Park basketball. Yeah, it was a bad loss.
But what are we talking about first? Bills, Chiefs?
Yeah,
we can start.
Yeah, let's start with Bills, Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was the biggest game. Like, I know we get the Super Bowl, but this one, just everything around it.
Oh, absolutely.
Storylines, legacy on the line, especially for one Josh Allen and Sean McDermott, honestly, too. Just so many storylines and so many question marks. And once again, it's inevitable. They're inevitable. The Kansas City Chiefs. The Bills played about as good as you can. They fumbled 4 times and they recovered every one of them.
I mean, the ball was bouncing their way. It really was.
And Josh Allen, on that first drive, it was a terrible drive. He should have thrown basically 2 interceptions. It was a really bad first drive. And the Chiefs, corners dropped both of them. So, very fortunate there. And it just...
They still lost. They still had every break.
They had every break. It was so even, though. Like, you look at all the numbers, it was so even across the board. And in, every statistical category, the Chiefs had, 6 more first downs, but the yardage was about the same. The difference was, though... and I thought too, we were saying there, the 2-point conversion by Sean McDermott, I was against that because if you save that, you just kick the extra point, you're up by 2, you get a touchdown, then you're up, 30-21.
Yeah,
and then, they never got the touchdown.
If they didn't do the extra points, they would have only needed a field goal to win at the end of the game rather than a field goal to tie.
But even so...
They still didn't get field goal range.
But still, this is what I want to talk about because these teams are so even... The difference, great quarterbacks, great overall rosters. The difference, though, was coaching in the end. That's the big differentiator in the playoffs and in championship games and in Super Bowls. And Steve Spagnuolo, that blitz, that corner blitz at the end, that was genius. He saved it till when it mattered most, when he needed it. And it was actually crazy because... that ball down
that would have been
that
would have been one of the most incredible throws and catches in playoff history.
Right.
Aligning with Julian Edelman's catch against the Falcons when he caught it off the ground somehow. There were 3 defenders there, and then the guy who caught it against his helmet, I forget his name.
Yeah,
that would have been because there was no reason that pass should have been completed, and it should have been. Oh yeah, Franco Harris. We love Franco Harris.
But yeah, and it would be crazy. It was basically a Hail Mary. right? Because it was a perfectly designed play defensively. And if they imagine if they caught
These
that,
tight
it was
ends
right
don't want to
there.
catch the ball.
Dalton Kincaid, it was
They don't
right
wanna-
there. That is really tough, honestly. But and then contrast that too. Like, okay, though, the Bills could get the ball back again, right? They just got to get 3 and out
Yeah,
from this
but-
Kansas City defense. And then Andy Reid's like, "Hey, Steve Spagnuolo, I'm not letting you one-up me like that. I'm going to design this play that they said, like, after the game, nobody can stop this." I can't remember who said that, but it's a play that nobody can stop.
Are you talking about the one to P, Ryan?
Yeah, the running back
Yeah.
out of the backfield, he squeezes in between and then runs out. You don't have a defender to that. When it's a defender, it's a linebacker from coming over like this. It's just not gonna.
Yeah,
You're
they're
not
not
gonna
gonna have a
stop
corner.
them.
on
Was
the
it one of
line.
those plays where like you know how you block the court, like a receiver will come over, block, get in the way of a guy?
I don't even think that.
offensive-
I just think the receiver went down. In the corner, and the safety help up was up there
It's just a
because they knew
mismatch.
it was gonna.
It was a good
It was a
design.
throw. They knew we were gonna throw it. Mahomes dropped back and everything.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
once they got that stop, once Kincaid dropped the ball, I mean, I would have been. I mean, that I don't know how he was that open. Allen even made that throw. But once he got that stop, I mean, you can't have the ball in Mahomes' hands to end the game. You just
Yeah.
can't. And Andy Reid, I knew it was over at that point. Although they got that first down, and I was worried for a second because Pacheco, he couldn't. I mean, I can't blame him. He had to go out of bounds. I mean, he was so
Right.
He tried to stay in bounds.
Yeah.
His momentum was, and I thought, oh well, maybe, but Mahomes and Reed took care of business. So, I agree with what you said. It does come down to coaching, and I do think, I think that, like I said, Buffalo's defensive personnel, especially in the secondary and off the edge, just isn't that great compared to Kansas City. It's just not, they got to improve in that area. But I do agree, it really does come down to coaching. And you see, okay, the first drive of the game, the first 2 drives of the game, Josh Allen comes out a little nervous. That offense doesn't have a good rhythm, rhythm. You expect, things are going to go well when your offense, now they did get into a good rhythm eventually, but when your offense comes out the first drive and is completing plays and executing. So then they punt, and then Kansas City, against a defensive coach, goes 90 yards down the field, no problem. But honestly, when you look, so Kansas City had to lead at the end of the first half. And the way, they were recovering these fumbles, Kansas City couldn't catch a break with that. I thought on both lines of scrimmage in the second half, Buffalo dominated the line of scrimmage, I thought. The defense was keeping Mahomes in the box for a lot of drives. They were stopping the run game. Their defensive line was getting some push, and their offensive line, they were running the ball with ease with James Cook. And the way that the ball was bouncing for them, it's 22-21, you have the ball, and this is what changes the game. You're about to, go down, score a touchdown, take the lead. It's 4th and short, right? And that's the play everyone's talking about. Did Josh Allen get that first down? Did the refs
It shouldn't
mark
come down
it
to
wrong?
that, though. Like, you can't be. Let's
So-
think of what you're hanging on to. You know what I mean?
So that's my thing, is we could speculate about whether the spot was
It looked
bad.
short, honestly. Like, I saw this one angle where it did look short on it. Like, in my opinion.
We'll get to that, but I want to just say, like, look, if you're a Buffalo fan, you can't be mad at the refs. I'm sorry. Like, I know it's a bad look for the league. Like, I get it, but
You can't just blame the refs.
you
for
can't
everything.
blame the refs.
It's not like
because-
Josh Allen in his post game is saying, "Oh, it was the refs."
Okay,
it
and
wasn't me,"
they tried that play 6 times. They got it luckily twice.
Twice, yeah.
You shouldn't have been lining up to call that play. Kansas City knew it was coming. They were, because Allen goes to his left every
Yeah,
single time.
They knew that too.
Yeah.
And they were able to stop it. Why are you running that play again? And whether he got it or not, it was very, very close. One can't deny that.
Mhm.
Now, from the one angle, let's talk about the call itself. But that is a coaching thing. Like, being
Adjustments.
so conservative, we have to do the QB sneak. Why? Why do you have to do
It's
that?
not
getting
working. Why do you
stopped.
keep doing
You're
it?
running the ball well on them all game. Why are you doing that?
Right.
So I think that was the difference in the game, honestly. I think if they go down and score there, they win the game. Maybe not, but I think they would have. But that call specifically, right? Let's talk about the call in itself. And like people are like, it's so obvious. I don't think it was obvious as people are saying. I really don't. Now, when you look at the one angle, where it's showing the back of him, right? His whole left side is across the line.
But he had the ball in his
But the ball was on his right side. Now, if you look at the angle where the ball, it shows Allen's face, it shows it on the other side, right? Okay, you see the ball, like the tip of the ball may have got the line, may have, but and that just goes to show, like, wherever the call on the field was, it had to stand. Like, either way, it had to stand. It just wasn't conclusive based on video review that should have been overturned. And I think they made the right call. Now, I think technically the correct call would have been to maybe move it up a little bit and measure it, because I don't know where the original spot may have been a little too short than where it was, because the tip of that ball was close to the line. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But you know, they shouldn't have ran that play. They shouldn't have ran that play. It was getting stopped all game. You didn't need to run it. And I feel like that last drive, they had a chance to go down. And that's the other thing. They had still had a chance to go down and win the game with the, you know, one of the, you know, it's either going to be him or Jackson for the MVP, right? You still had a chance to go down and win that game. Your offense was pretty much in a groove. And I thought the play calling there was very conservative. Screen to Amari Cooper, you know, just it didn't seem like, it just felt like they knew it. Kansas City in the biggest moments, they thrive. They love it. And Buffalo in the biggest moments, when they started the game and when they ended the game, just felt like they tightened up. And when it came to the play calling, and Josh Allen a little bit too, although Josh had a good game, but they tightened up at the end when it mattered most. And they're going to have to get over that hump. I think they will at some point, because Josh Allen is just that guy. But that's 4 Super Bowls in a row and lost in 4 AFC championship. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts on that last drive of the game and that call, the referee. Was it as bad as people say?
I mean, I could start real quick.
Yeah.
Like, to me, at that spot, it was all going to come down to coaching. I mean, Josh Allen's going to give it his all. Obviously, you know, the Bills don't have bad playmakers, right? But they're not what the Chiefs are, in my opinion, at least. So that's going to be a tough final drive either way. For the call, it could have went either way. Like, I didn't get the best look at it. A lot of people thought it was a first down. To me, it was like, I could see why they didn't give it to him. But at the end of the day, you can't rely on that to be the end-all, be-all. Like, you have to put yourself in a better spot, really, to where you don't have to rely on the 4th and 1, where it getting overturned is just very crucial. And you can't rely on that 4th and 5.
It was predictable.
It was.
That was the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Kansas City, with their offense, it's unpredictable. Those play calls were so predictable, and Kansas City was stopping it.
Yeah, I mean, you it's just the Bills put themselves in bad situations late, and you can't guarantee to convert them. I don't care if it's 4th and 1, 4th and 5, whatever. That's no guarantee, because the next play, you know, you're screwed, without lack of better terms. So, to me, it was just, it came down to coaching. It just came down to execution, really, and the Chiefs proved it all year that they can do both. And I know they played in a lot of close games with the Chiefs. Like,
they win them all.
Yeah, they win them all. They win them all because they can execute at the right time, because they're the better team and they're the better coached team. That's just how it is, and that's how it ended up being for this game. So, I mean, Chiefs deserve to be in the Super Bowl. I know people are going to say refs and everything, but they deserved it. So.
I mean, what we're witnessing, and I'll let Nate chime in, but what we're witnessing, people aren't appreciating it now, just like how they weren't appreciating it with the Patriots. But, like, they have a chance to be the greatest team in a 3-year, well, they're already the greatest team in a 6-year span, even if they lose the Super Bowl. 5 Super Bowls in 6 years is unheard of.
Yeah.
But to win 3 in a row, no one's done it. I mean, what we're witnessing is great coaching, great quarterback, just one of the, if not the greatest team of all time. I mean, it's not this specific team, but like the set of what they're doing is unheard of. And I feel like people have to appreciate it. I know people joke around about the refs and all that, but if you're saying, oh, it's because they cheat, like, you're not watching football. You're not watching the
It's
games.
scripted, though.
Yeah,
Don't you know? It's scripted.
It's scripted.
We've
heard that on the streets.
They care about the
haven't we,
viewers,
Nate?
even though every single fan doesn't want to see the Chiefs, and they still care about viewers. That's why the Chiefs.
Yeah, the streets. The streets.
I mean,
are
you
very
could
much-
argue that, you know, things like the way they protect the Chiefs because the Chiefs, but like I can't.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nate. I
Don't-
don't want to.
You don't need to elaborate on that.
Yeah.
It's not the Chiefs are winning these games because the Chiefs have the best coach in football. They have I don't know if he's the best stat wise, right? Because every year you look at the regular season, you're like, this guy's like 10, the top 10, but he's maybe 10. You know what I mean? But he comes up clutch, in every big game. He's my homeboy.
Mhm.
But and they got just a dynamic defensive coordinator in C Spagnuolo.
I'm shocked how good their defense has been this year.
Yeah,
It's
because and they're just Chris Jones is really good, but the overall defensive line always
Chris
comes
Jones.
up clutch.
I swear every time they're in a Super Bowl or AFC Championship where they win, bro is crying.
Oh, did you see him?
He's crying
Yeah.
before the game. He's crying when they win. This guy is super emotional.
And
I
then,
love
then
it.
everyone says that he's very underrated. It's like, we know how good he is. Like, he's phenomenal.
Real
That
ones-
dude
real ones
tears.
The
knows.
real ones know.
Real ones know.
Him and Sirianni
Yeah.
in the Super Bowl
Yeah.
again are going to be
Well,
crying
one
in
will
the
be crying
national
tears of
anthem.
joy.
Well, speaking of Sirianni, why don't we go to the NFC side?
Oh, I
Or
didn't
do
mean
you
to
have
interrupt. Were
any
you going to
Oh,
say
I don't remember what I was going
The
to
refs.
say. The refs. I
Oh,
don't care
gotcha.
about the refs.
we love the refs?
We love the refs. Point Park games. The refs are always great. They're
What?
Oh,
It was,
God.
it was a ref show yesterday. That was,
The refs.
it wasn't a ref show. I'm just
No, I mean,
I'm just
yeah.
saying things, but no, I mean that fourth down play. Like I agree. I saw like angles where it like was clearly short almost. Like he just didn't even get it like to begin. Like people are saying like at the very least the tip of the football was over the line, but I don't even know. Like I saw the one angle. It was like straight and it was like
Yeah.
it didn't look like he got it. But either way, like you guys said, that should not that shouldn't be the play. You have like one of the better running backs in football, James Cook. You could have Josh Allen like QB sneak like somewhere else. Like you could just you could have like a short pass play, some goofy stuff
Other
good.
than that QB sneak play, that offensive line of the Bills was gassing the defensive line of the Chiefs in the second half. I have full
And
faith on
also,
what I
like,
watched.
it's kind of funny, like we talk about like coordinators and everything being head coaches. Joe Brady was mentioned as a coordinator who could get a head coaching job. And he really like what were they like crazy exotic like what a play call by Joe Brady in this game. A lot of it was just like Josh Allen throwing it up to Matt Collins with like a beautiful throw.
That was they would have been
coverage.
down. The Chiefs had a chance to really put a dent into
They
them
did.
in the first half,
Because it was
and Buffalo Allen pulled them out.
wasn't
of
it
that.
21-10? And
Yeah.
then they if people say they'd be lucky to get a field goal,
And
they
Ma-
get that touchdown.
And Mahomes, that whole first half, the Bills' defense was getting torched. The only reason they got a stop in the first half was because Mahomes had that fumble on the exchange. That was a 14-point swing. So the Chiefs could have been up even more in the first half if it wasn't for that 14-point swing and that Matt Collins crazy catch and throw. But that's what I mean. Like, I really thought in this, I was like, it was 22-21. I thought they're going to win this game. Buffalo's going to win this game. And then things started to go the Chiefs' way, and then they got the ball with Allen. I said, then I wasn't sure because I was like, even if they score, Mahomes still might have time to go down and score.
Honestly, like,
but yeah, it was
if they
what a
did
great
score,
game though.
it
Still.
was,
What a great game.
But the storylines were even bigger because like now Josh Allen, it's like
Yeah.
at some
Yeah, I
point,
feel so bad.
and you talk about tightening up.
It's not on him, really.
I know,
It's
but
not.
that's what the narrative's going to be.
Yeah.
And you talk about tightening up. I think a lot of it is like the Chiefs are in their head. The Chiefs are in a lot of people's heads, and I think at the end of the game, the Bills
They got tight.
They got tight, and they're because they're thinking about like, oh crap, this team is so good closing it out. But yeah, so the storylines will continue for Josh Allen. Will he be able to get it done ever?
Peyton Manning lost. I don't know what it was. The first 6 times he faced Brady, or the first 6
Yeah.
playoff
Yeah.
games, one of the two. Mahomes and Brady are different players, but
It's
the Patriots had a way,
It's
always
the
found a way,
dynasty
and the
aspect.
Chiefs
Yeah.
found the way. That's just
Yeah.
how it is. And someone will break through eventually on the AFC side eventually, but
Yeah.
not right now. Not this year.
Right.
Not this year.
All right. Well,
We'll
let's-
talk briefly about this NFC
Yes.
game.
Yeah,
There wasn't a whole
Yeah, I was
lot
gonna
to-
say. I was gonna say exactly.
That's what I was
We don't
gonna
need
say.
to
We
get
should
too
lead
much.
off. I was about to say that we should lead off, but just because you gotta get it out of the way. But
Yeah.
that was just. It was like varsity versus JV in this
Yeah.
game. It was
I
just
felt
kind of
that,
like
yeah.
the Commanders. It was like at one point we were like, okay, this roster is playing like completely maximizing its potential.
Yeah.
Based on and Philly, I think they clearly have the best roster in football. You look at every position
Oh,
group.
absolutely. Yeah.
They are so good. They're stacked at every position group. And it was just like, if you turn it over 4 times in any game, like you're not going to win.
Yeah.
The Commanders, to win this game, they needed to win the turnover battle and win it kind of decisively.
Oh yeah.
Because just Philly just doesn't turn it over. But if you do, you got to capitalize for sure because their defense is so good. And when they're cooking, their offense is special too.
Yeah.
And
they have a winner at quarterback. They have a winner at quarterback too. Like
Kenny
every single
Pickett, the
level he's
winner at
played
quarterback.
Yeah, Kenny.
The
Yeah,
winner
that
at
is true.
quarterback.
But also, I mean, Jalen Hurts. He wins at every single level. Obviously, Mahomes
Right.
has been a big winner, but like Hurts,
Right.
he was going to win that game.
So it was just tough for Washington and turning it over like a meat. I knew it was kind of like the Notre Dame Ohio State game where Notre Dame has that long methodical drive and they just like it looked like it took them everything to get the touchdown. Like they needed everything to get that touchdown. For the Commanders, it was the same thing. Like they had that long methodical, 13, 14
Yeah, they got
play
3
drive,
points.
and they only got a field goal of it. And I'm like,
And
then
then
they get
first
the
play
turnovers.
to Saquon. The game was over when Saquon.
Yeah.
And then
It's
Washington had some fight in the first half. They did. I mean, that's just they're
Right.
just a feisty team, obviously with Dan Quinn and Jaden Daniels. But Saquon, the first play of the game, the pitch. I mean, the whole D line is blocked. Everybody's getting blocked, and Saquon's to the house.
Frankie Louvu, where's Frankie Louvu at?
Dude, he was he was flying. Hey, I don't blame the guy. I mean that tush push is
Dude,
frustrating. And the refs were like, "We're going to reward them a score."
Imagine if
You don't hear that. You don't hear
if
that.
he kept doing that and then touchdown.
Yeah.
Philadelphia, they didn't even get in the end zone. Talk about ref show.
Yeah.
But you can't keep jumping
But they
off
were up
sides.
by-
Yeah,
You can't
that's
keep.
true. Very
But
true.
I appreciate the effort from Frankie Louvu. But yeah, I mean, in the first 2 Philly-Washington matchups, even the one Washington lost. I mean, Philly had injuries in that game. Kenny Pickett came in, so that Washington game, that was that
What
one
do you
the
mean by
one
that?
they won.
Yeah.
You know what I mean by that. The one they won, it was like, okay, Philly's the way better team here, and they should have still won the game. Philly, Devontae Smith dropped the pass in that game, but they're just a superior team, and I believe Washington was missing Daron Payne on the defensive front, and that really hurt them, and they're defensively, they were just they had no answer for Barkley. And they had no answer for the passing game either. Jalen Hurts had a good game passing. And their offense did what they could. But that Philly defense, you're not going to score 45 on... You're not going to go score for score with Philly. And the big thing in that game, like most playoff games, except for the Chiefs game, was turnovers. The Chiefs-Bills, because the Chiefs had one more turnover than the Bills and still won.
Yeah.
But every team that's had the most turnovers has lost, and none of those turnovers were on Jaden Daniels. Those were just great plays. The Philly players know how to go for the ball, and that kind of got them up a couple possessions and kind of kept them up a couple possessions, and then Washington cut it to 11, but then. They just couldn't do anything. It was just like they couldn't catch up. Their defense, Dan Quinn got squeezed every last ounce out of that defense, but it just wasn't enough. So 55 points in a championship game, that's impressive. And I think a lot of people are going to be on the Chiefs in this Super Bowl, rightfully so. But this Eagles team, obviously they have the best roster. The quarterback coach isn't as good, obviously, as the Chiefs. But defensively, this is the best defense the Chiefs are gonna play. This is the best run game the Chiefs are gonna play. This is the best offensive line the Chiefs are gonna play.
Oh, that's a little injured right now. There's some injuries to that O-line. Yeah. But they just fill in.
Dude,
they were just the same. It was a well-oiled machine.
That'll be interesting. We'll have to keep an eye on that. You get the bye week here, the Pro Bowl.
I saw that something's tonight, like it's with the skills thing or something's tonight. Not watching.
No one watches. It's flag
care.
football. No one cares.
We do not care.
Real quick before we go to our next topic, who you guys have winning the Super Bowl?
I think we should wait till next.
Should we wait till next week?
Let's wait till next week.
We'll wait till next week for that.
Teaser.
Teaser.
Let's build this up like
yeah. All right. so we're back. We're back. Nate had to have a tissue break.
We finally have audio
We have
in these,
audio.
so you can hear us
Yes.
better.
No, it was
Yes.
the audio. It was the audio break, and then I was like,
Yeah.
I need tissues.
And then it was a tissue break.
Yeah.
And then I had to send a text message. So we're back. But yeah, the Pro Bowl games. Let's give some shout outs. Russell Wilson, a 10-time Pro Bowler. Way to go, Russie.
Number 10 on the options for quarterbacks, by the
Now
way.
we can't get rid of him. He's a
Yeah.
Pro Bowler.
Pro
We have to
Bowler.
resign
He'll
him.
Yeah.
use that in contract again.
Yeah, oh, yeah. 30
I'm
million
a
a year
Pro
now.
Bowler.
3 years, 90 million. That's
Oh,
just
my
what's
Lord.
going to
And
happen.
also, the great linebacker who stood there the whole for the second half of the season, Patrick Queen, also a Pro Bowler.
Oh, my.
Wow, what a...
Steelers 7 Pro Bowlers.
Yeah.
This is an elite
Elite,
elite team.
Elite roster. We're going to be a contender next year. We will make the minimal changes in the
9-8
offseason.
ball,
Dude,
9-8.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, exactly. We'll have still no line and no cornerbacks, but you know what? We're all good.
Oh, Isaac Sumalo is a Pro
He is a
Bowler.
Pro Bowl.
We like
Oh,
Isaac
yeah, we do.
Sumalo.
He's the
like
one
that.
we like. He's the
Tank
one we
doesn't
like.
He's like,
And I
Yeah.
like Russ, too. I feel good for her. I like Russ, but like, you know,
Unlimited, Mr. Unlimited.
they call me Mr. Unlimited.
No, don't say the. Did you see the other one where it's like unlimited? Oh, I can't say it.
I don't
No,
know what.
you're
No,
good.
I'm not aware of what we're.
It's
All right.
Anyway,
I don't want to say.
no, you're good. Let's transition into a whole new sport, and that is Pitt basketball. Obviously, we went on a huge rant because losing 4 straight's not very fun.
We're back.
But we're
Bell
back.
crashed out.
I
You
did
were
crash. I
crashed
was
out
crashed
of
out.
Pitt
But you know what?
basketball.
Good
We were
win,
all
guys.
crashed
Good
out.
win.
He's back.
The
He's
guys that
back.
I really, had a lot of crap on, which were Damian Dunn and Cam Corhen. You guys did your job. I'm very happy. Very happy with
Cam
you guys.
Corrin is interesting. What the
Yeah.
heck are you doing over there? Cam Corrin is interesting because his rebounding sucks worse than
It's still
Federico
bad, yeah.
and Federico, but
Yeah.
he scores more than Federico.
Yeah.
Federico. Yeah, it was right? He was Federico. Federico was the guy last year, right?
Yeah, I mean, he had less
He was-
minutes than he did the year before because they liked Guillermo Diaz-Graham at the 5.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So Cam's getting his, and I feel like at the end of the game, like they should get the ball to him more.
Yeah.
And get him involved more. I think they did a little in that North Carolina game, which that was a must-win for them. Kind of, they needed some momentum.
That was a must
and
win, 100%.
and you had lost 3 games against pretty decent ACC teams by very small margins. You need to win one of those. Now North Carolina is a tier below Clemson and Louisville this year. I mean that's just a fact. But it's still North Carolina. I don't care. If they're having a down year, it's still North Carolina. You get a win against
They
them.
still have R.J. Davis, who's still a very good
They
player.
have good guard play.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
have good guard play.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what they were doing they did look very sloppy for a North Carolina team. You expect them to be just on point, very sloppy. Pitt won that game because of turnovers. They won the turnover battle and they won that. It sounds like football, and they got points off of turnovers, like 24-2 or something, right?
22-4.
I mean, I think Pitt was the less talented team, but they took advantage of the opportunities that were given to them. And their best offense is in transition because we still see them, possession to possession have issues, getting open looks. Offensively, in the first half, I thought they did a pretty good job of that. Second half, it was rough for both teams. But again, we see that the defense is a problem.
yeah.
In the second half, though, Zach Austin. We got to talk about Zach Austin.
Yeah.
He stepped up his game. Damian Dunn really stepped up his game defensively because Pitt is always in man. So you have to be, you have to be on. They're usually, if I'm correct, they're usually in man. So
They're always in man, yep.
you have to be on your guy constantly, and that takes all these guys are athletes, but that takes it up here. You know what I mean? And Damian Dunn and Zach Austin did a good job, and I think. They switch those guys out, but for defensive reasons, I would try and keep both of those guys in more often, maybe together for the defensive purpose, because this team can score, even though it looks bad at times on the offensive side. Like they find a way to score usually. It's the defense that gets them behind in these games, and you can't keep playing catch up. And they were fortunate to win last week or when was that, Tuesday?
Yeah.
I'm losing track of days. But you can't keep playing catch up, especially against better teams that they're going to be going up against, whether in the ACC or if they make it to the NCAA tournament, which is they're barely in right now.
Yeah.
So a lot of work to do. They play Wake Forest this Saturday. But anyway, Nate.
Yeah, you
Nate,
can go
Go
next.
ahead.
You sure? Okay. Jesus.
Get it in there. Get it in.
It just keeps. No, okay. I'm just gonna hold it like this for a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, this was a monster game. It was a massive. Oh, the Syracuse game was a massive game because you just gotta win. You just gotta get a win.
And Syracuse
get back on
going
track.
into that building is all. Oh, I forgot about that game. I know Syracuse stinks this year, but going into that building, Syracuse Pitt's kind of a rivalry.
Pitt has trouble there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a game you had to win,
Yeah,
and they did. So credit to where credit's due. But
but
go
that
ahead.
was. They didn't play very good, honestly. They got destroyed on the rebounding.
They
Eddie
always
Lampkin,
do.
Yeah.
I was so frustrated watching that game because Eddie Lampkin was literally. He's not much bigger. He's bigger
Yeah.
than much bigger than Cam Corn, but
Yeah.
he's not like the height. It's not like that much of a difference. And Eddie Lampkin was just like standing like flat-footed and catching these rebounds. Like Cam Corn showed no physicality whatsoever.
Mhm.
It was really bothering me. And he always Cam Corn like this way is like bothering me too because he'll just start taking jump shots sometimes. Like, he'll get the ball and like instead of like handing it off, he'll drive in a couple steps and he can never get by anybody. He can never like post anybody up. So he
Yeah.
just like stops and shoots a jump shot. He takes like 3 of them like per game. Now credit, he didn't do that against North Carolina except that like push shot to make it 69-65 to like really make it a 2-possession game.
Who are we
Yeah.
talking about?
Cam Corn.
Cam Corn,
He
okay.
shoots these jump shots.
Oh yeah, that
He's
was such a lucky shot. We were saying the bullshit was real right there because he had
was
3
the
dudes
push-
on him. He
yeah.
just went and it went
Yeah.
in. It was just like
Yeah, but yeah. So that game was just kind of, and Jalen Lowe made some bad plays down the stretch in that Syracuse.
well, they're
game
so
too.
reliant on him. They just want him to dribble
He was,
around
like,
and shoot.
He was dribbling way down the court on the sideline. It just was unnecessary. But he made the free throws. He got the win there. You just had to survive in advance. And this game was going to tell a lot. And it really was like the first half was just a here we go again kind of
Right.
thing because they couldn't get any stops. They got some weird. The only stops they were getting were turnovers. UNC made everything. And there was this random guys. Jalen Withers, he gets like 2 minutes a game now. He got his 2 minutes and he scored 5 points on us. He hit a 3. I was like, oh brother. And at the end of the half, right there, up like 40-30. And then Jalen Lowe, we haven't seen this. This was a big development in this game. Jalen Lowe hitting threes. He hit 2 big threes.
because we were down 9 and then we cut it to like 1.
It was a 10-point game,
Yeah.
and we cut it. Yeah, got it all the way down, and then and 1 at halftime. Or 2. What was it? 44.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like yeah.
So yeah, that was a big because if they were down like 8 at halftime, like I think they could come back, but like they were playing catch up against Clemson. They were playing catch up for a little bit against Louisville. It's just not a good. And they were playing catch up the whole game against Florida State. It's just not a good recipe.
Jalen Lowe is such a hit or miss player because he's so talented. He has the ability to score from anywhere, but at the same time, it's like they're too reliant on him. He dribbles around
Yeah.
too much. Doesn't he takes bad shots? Doesn't
Yeah.
have the point guard vision.
He's
you
a
would like.
liability
Yeah.
on defense for the most part too.
Yeah.
He's
He
got-
a low
he
concern
actually-
anyway.
Yeah,
he did get better
This
last
second
game.
half,
Yeah.
like if they played defensively, that's another point. Like they did in the second half, like this team could actually achieve like the level that we saw early in the season that we just haven't seen for a while. And I would
Yeah.
argue even against like Stanford and Cal, we gave up too many like defensively. We just weren't good enough still in those games.
I
Yeah.
think I know Lowe is your main scorer, but if you need defense, if you really need defense, like I would. Well, they switch out Diaz and Corin, but I would take Lowe out sometimes just to have that extra defensive effort in there with Austin and Dunn, even though that Dunn isn't the best scorer, but Austin is really playing his best basketball
Oh, yeah.
of his
That's another-
career
yeah.
right
That's
now.
another thing. We did talk about Austin as a 3-point shooter too, because we know
Yeah.
the blocks. That was just that was just Zach Austin saved that team too.
Yeah.
We know that on Tuesday, but his energy is always there. The dunk was electric. There were so many momentum swings in this game because it felt like I felt like the whole game they were gonna lose.
Yeah, me
because
too.
consistently North Carolina, like, Pitt goes on a run, they're down,
And
then
Yeah.
North Carolina's up by 2. It's like they're trying everything, but they just can't get over
It felt like the Clemson and Louisville, like
Right,
it kind of
yeah.
had that same feel.
And then and Zach Austin that dunk, but he gets the big dunk, and it's like tied. You know, like we get all this momentum, it's tied, and then UNC gets the lead again. But his 3-point shooting, man, I like it cannot be understated or overstated. Like how
They need that.
how
they do.
much better he's improved as a three.
Yeah.
When he's wide open now, last year I was like,
Yeah,
is
he
that gonna
shot
go
under
in?
30% from
I'm not
three
sure.
last year.
Now when he's wide open, he's gonna make it.
Mhm.
And that sidestep three, that was they were down 2 once again, and Zach Austin hits, or no, they're down 1, and Zach Austin hits the 3 to put them up by 2, and then from there so that was a 9-0 run to end the game.
Yeah.
That's been another thing for Pitt's issues. The Clemson game, they got all the way back in the game. And they had terrible shot selection, and Jalen Lowe
At the end of the game,
at the end of the
specifically.
game. Yeah, because they had a huge run to come all the way back against Clemson, and then they shoot.
And I feel like we saw that in this game too. It's just like, but
Yeah.
unfortunately,
But
North
that
Carolina
was a
kept
big
turning
thing.
the ball
They
over.
kept turning it over, 22-4. I do think I just so frustrated this rebounding. I don't understand. Like the one RJ Davis
Bad.
jump right in the air, and he got many rebounds in this game. It's just not acceptable. Like Cam Corn, I thought it was a pretty good game actually, but he didn't get that many rebounds. It's kind of weird.
He doesn't rebound.
I know, but he got it's like kind of weird. Like he got like 7 rebounds or 9 rebounds against Syracuse.
Against Florida State, he got like 9, even
But
though
it
he
felt
only put up 2.
But
like,
it felt
weird.
like he didn't get that many. It felt
Yeah.
like because Eddie Lampkin had 23. Right?
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen. So So another thing, if they can just and that's why I'm concerned about this Wake game, because Wake has
Let's talk about
Wake
that.
has big guards, and they have Efton Reed, and I just
We could get dominated on the
We
glass.
could get dominated. Now they don't score very much. They're not a good scoring team. I think we could stay in it, but we gotta rebound, man. I'm very worried about that because they're a bigger team. North Carolina was missing their big man.
Yeah.
He hasn't.
Oh,
scored.
really?
Yeah, they're starting big. He scores like 5
And we still
points
got
a
out
game
rebounded.
by 10.
Jeez.
Yep. And we got
this team offensively, defensively, on the glass, they have issues, and they it's an average team, but they have guys who can take over at certain points, like Jalen Lowe, like Zach Austin, Damian Dunn defensively at times.
and he hits random threes. That was funny. He hit that 3 to make it 50-49. He just hits these random contested threes.
Yeah, like he'll randomly. But the thing, and in college basketball though, if you can get in the dance, if you can somehow improve the rest of this season, right, going into the dance, then you got a chance. You know, get in the dance, you got a chance. And
So you're saying
so
there's a
there's
chance.
always you always root for your college team that even though maybe they're not as great as we thought they were in the beginning of the year. Like if you have a chance to get in it, there's something to play for, there's something to root for, and we'll take it. We'll take it. But they got to improve on some things. Maybe it'll get better over the year. Maybe next year they'll get some. This has been an issue, not getting the forwards right. Not getting the guys down low right with the
Center,
rebounding. If Cam Corrin can score, though, it'll kind of make up for his rebounding. But it's still.
Yeah.
But this is a tough spot for Pitt. Off an emotional win at home
Plus
against
Wake's
North
lost 2 in a
Carolina.
row. They got embarrassed.
Wake
by
almost
Louisville.
beat Duke, and that was a tough loss at home. Wake has given us trouble over the years, and that concerns me about their size. So we'll see. It'll be if they can Pitt can win that game. Like if they lose, I don't think it's the end of the world. They got to lose. They don't want to get blown out.
This is
But if
like-
they lose, it's not the end of the world. But if they can win, that really would make up for the Clemson, Louisville, Florida State L's. That would really, because you get North Carolina at home and Wake on the road back to back. That's a big
One quick point
thing.
I want Jake.
No, you're good.
I just if they go 2-2 at Wake, at UNC, at SMU, at Louisville, if they go 2-2, I think they're safely in. They have
In the dance.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because as long as they don't lose to Virginia at home, Syracuse at home, Miami at home, Georgia Tech at
Terrible
home,
teams at
Boston
home.
College at
Terrible
home,
teams.
at NC State, there's 7 games that they should win, and then there's this 4-game road stretch here. It's not consecutive, but just for the rest of the season. That were really because they need quad 1 wins. Like that's the only glaring.
They're
thing.
1-6.
Yeah.
I don't know how that
It's gonna be 1.
North Carolina should be a quad 1.
It's gonna be.
I
It's
get
gonna
it.
be 1-5 because Florida State lost at home to Virginia Tech. So they're gonna go down, and then that. So that's gonna be a
jeez.
quad 2 loss now. So that's gonna be a little worse. But
Pitt has 4 quad 2 wins, though, which is solid.
Yeah.
Which is good, right?
right. So that's all I wanted to say. Jake,
No, I was gonna say before we go to our next topic, I just want to make it very clear, like this win needs to be the start of a very good stretch for Pitt. It has to be, like, you can't follow this game with a bad loss.
Right.
Like, you just can't. After losing
What if
4
it's a
straight.
close loss?
I don't care. You got to beat Wake. I mean,
Oh,
these are
gee,
these are games you have. Like, Pitt put themselves in the hole early. Like, these are games you have to win to make up for that now. It's just you can't be like, okay, well, Wake's a good team. It's your 7th loss. Like, Pitt didn't make March Madness last year with 10 losses. Which
That's true. I
Their
think
10th
the
loss was
margin-
in the tournament, ACC tournament.
The margin of errors are slimmer than we probably
Yeah,
think.
I agree, because the ACC is not as
And if you look
good.
at the bracketology, people are saying Pitt's like the first 6 in right
Yeah.
now, or the last
So
6
so
in.
it's
the last
nothing's
4
guaranteed.
in.
Nothing's
Yeah.
guaranteed at all. So, but yeah, I
North
think
Carolina's somehow still in. Joe Lunardi,
Yeah.
as of today, has them as last team in.
That's
Right
crazy.
now.
They're 13. They do have I think they have the toughest schedule in
Yeah.
basketball.
They don't have like too many bad losses,
Right.
But they don't really have any good wins either. They beat the UCLA, but
yeah. Well, let's get to our next topic,
So
which is
I'm sorry. I want to say one more thing about Pitt.
Shut up.
I want to ask. Actually, it's a question. So you two may have a difference of an opinion because that's what I want to hear about this. You say if Pitt goes 2-2 in the 4 good, solid opponents they have left, they go 2-2, and then they win 6 of the 7 against the bad teams that they play.
yeah, I would say so.
Would that get
'Cause
them in? So if
I
they
think it would.
that means they'd have to go 8-3 to end. They have 11 games left. They'd have to go 8-3 to get in.
bare minimum.
Yeah.
Bare minimum.
If they lose a 10th, I don't think they're making it.
Yeah.
Unless they make a serious run at the ACC tournament.
So they
because-
have to.
yeah.
They can't lose 10 games.
If they win one ACC tournament game and then lose and then they have 10 losses, they're not in.
Eight.
I like
do
the
not
I like
think
the
they're in.
8. I hope they end with 8. That's what I'm
Yeah.
hoping.
If
I'm
they
hoping-
lose only 8, they'll make it.
I hope
think.
they win every game they're going to be favored
Yeah.
in, because they're going to be underdogs on every road game. This
Yeah.
Wake game might be like, pick them, but
Yeah.
Pitt's the better team. But it's a tough place to play in Wake at Lawrence. Is that called Lawrence? I don't know.
Now, look, sounds like it might be a mismatch with the size. That's
Yeah, but Wake
concerning.
doesn't score that much. And they just got blown out by Louisville. They were down by 30, and then they
Louisville,
just,
dude, they're a top 20 team.
I know, but
That's losing to them at home close doesn't look as bad as it did originally.
they were
but,
on the road.
But no, we were at home, is what I'm saying.
Oh, us losing.
Yeah.
yeah.
But it was
right.
close. I mean, it
Right.
was, and we get a shot at them again.
So I hope it's 8. And then the
but
ACC
9
tournament.
is like the
9 is kind
maximum.
of, but it's different though, because we don't have as long as we don't have any bad losses. So if you lose at Notre Dame, that's not a great loss, but like Notre Dame's getting better. Their net rankings kind of
Yeah, they've been better. They've been playing better.
If you lose like at home,
The big thing
one
with
of
the
these teams-
losses, you can lose, but don't get blown out, right?
Yeah.
Like if you lose
Yeah.
close, it's better. And Pitt has lost close mainly,
For the net rankings.
other than the Duke loss. But Duke is
And
a
Mississippi
crazy
State, that was
team.
bad. Yeah. But okay, let's.
Buccos.
Yeah, Buccos.
Sorry,
Sorry, I just
no,
wanted
you're
to
good.
ask, like,
no,
what,
you're
what
good.
you guys thought, like what the Pitt
no,
had
it's
to
a
do
good
we'll,
going,
we'll
going
go
forward.
Buccos about 10 minutes because these are kind of minor signs. But there's one, obviously, we're going to elaborate more, and there's a very big reason why. Obviously, the first
Ryan
is getting-
Baracchi.
Brian Baracchi, yes. But before that, it was Tim Meza from the Blue Jays, who was very effective for 3 years, and then last year, obviously, he struggled. The typical Pirates pickup, right? The guy who had a career year the year before, and then last year they struggled, hoping for a bounce back, kind of like Rowdy Tellez, amongst others, right?
Rowdy Tellez.
So
We love you,
yeah, so
Rowdy.
those are the two relief pitchers. Then they also bring in Adam Frazier, former Pirate. That's all something we're going to elaborate on for sure. But I do want to let you guys, like, pretty much just give everyone in on who they DFA'd for Adam Frazier, and that's Elvis Alvarado, I believe his name is.
Oh, yeah,
Who
yeah.
I thought could have made the opening day roster as a reliever. He was so effective in AAA. I would rather the Pirates have DFA'd Alika Williams or that guy we got from the Red
He's
Sox.
just toiling in.
It's just it made no sense to DFA a reliever. I know we've added some relievers, but like Alika Williams and and Manuel.
Oh, Alika Williams.
something,
Sheraton loves
Yeah,
Alika
Alika Williams and then the guy we got from the Red Sox. I mean, I don't care that we traded some random guy.
Alvarado, I know he's been in the mind. I didn't know that this happened. I'm
Yeah.
glad we met. He's been in the. He hasn't pitched in the major leagues, but he has
hasn't.
nasty stuff.
Yeah, like I'm shocked that bringing in Frazier, you wouldn't DFA one of your many utility infielders you have in your system. It doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know,
I
but
think Williams just-
yeah.
He just doesn't provide he's
Yeah.
just not good enough. Like he has
But his
to be.
defense, his
But
defense.
he wasn't even like that good. He was okay defensively,
Yeah.
but I thought. So go ahead. Jay, I'm sorry.
No,
I
you're
just wanted
good.
to mention
Let's
that. I'm
go.
just-
Let's go to the relief pitchers. Tim Meza and Ryan Baracki. Obviously, Ryan Baracki was very good for us in 2023, but then he got hurt, and obviously, I already mentioned about Meza. So I want to get your guys' thoughts about that real quick.
Yeah, so I wrote an article about this. Bucks Dugout. Always
Check
check
it out.
me
Yeah.
out. Bucks Dugout. I've been saying, because last year we got Aroldis Chapman. I'm like, we need an Aroldis Chapman type of guy.
Kenley Jansen's still there.
You never
He
know.
wasn't
You
bad. He
never
wasn't bad
know.
last. Like he was pretty
They
decent.
still could, but I just don't think they're gonna spend the money.
Right.
They need like an extra guy to assist Holderman and Bednar in case a top tier guy like who's been there, done that to assist Holderman and Bednar. But looking at just looking at the guys Sherrington signed, who's coming back this year. The Pirates bullpens have been built on, okay, one or two great guys at the top, who are getting, maybe a decent chunk and change. Bednar's getting like $6 million. And then, we've seen this with Huntington and Sherrington, is finding diamonds in the rough. Sherrington, I feel like, has done a good job of this.
With
Ryan
lefty
Baracki,
relievers too.
Ryan Baracki in 2023, Dennis Santana in 2024.
Even Dari Moreta to a certain extent, because
I agree because like he was. Yeah.
Dowry Moreta is going to be back.
Yeah.
Right? But that's what I want to get to. So you look at the depth you have behind Holderman and Bednar. Okay, you have Majinski and Nicholas. Those guys were great
I
last
like
year.
Nicholas a lot,
And
yeah.
I like
Majinski.
I like Majinski's fiery. I like my
Majinski-
fiery guys.
Majinski's great. I mean, well, not great, but like that guy's a solid third.
They used
He's
him
a
so
solid
much,
seventh.
yeah.
Yeah,
end of the
he was a first round pick too. The first Sherrington draftee to make the majors as a Pirate. He was a comp pick. Yeah, he was in the same as Nick Gonzalez in 2020.
Majinski's a solid 7th inning guy, right?
Yeah.
Then you got Kyle Nicholas, who, as we saw last year, has nasty stuff, but he was learning how to pitch and how to
got better
control,
as the
and he
year
got
went
better
on.
as the year went on. That's
Yeah.
another guy you can rely on, right? And then you look at, Dowry Moreta is coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, he was great in 2023. Show me the money, Moreta.
He had that
Excellent.
bad.
He's
He had
coming
that
back.
bad stretch, but other than that, he was our best
Yeah.
reliever. Honestly, like
Yeah, and then you have, and this is a sneaky signing. No one really talked about this, but I was looking at his numbers, his stuff. He has a 5-pitch mix. This Peter Strzelski, I don't know
Yeah,
how
I
you say
heard
his
about
last
him,
name.
yeah.
Look
I
at his
remember.
numbers: 77 career big league
Is he
appearances.
with the Mets? I feel like he sounds like a
No,
Met.
he was with
Yeah.
he was with the Brewers, I think, and the Red Sox.
I'll do some fact check.
He was on the Brewers. I know he was on the Brewers.
That sounds like a Mets or like a Brewers. Yeah, that sounds like.
But you look at his career numbers: 3.44 ERA in 7. He's been up and
wow.
down the minor leagues. 3.44 ERA in 77 big leagues appearances. He has a 5-pitch mix. This guy is could be a guy like he comes out of nowhere, and that's what I'm saying. Sherrington, with the way the Pirates want to build a bullpen, you want to have 2 guys at the top, and then you want to have a mix of guys who have proven it at the big league level, but aren't necessarily, guys that you think of and guys that teams are going after. And the Pirates have done a good job at that when they've had good bullpens.
Yeah.
And I think you have those right-handed, and then you have Dowry Moreta coming back. You have those right-handed guys I'm talking about. Plus, you have the 4 lefties. You have Joey Wentz, who is transitioning.
I like Wentz a lot. Like,
He's
I was a huge fan of him whenever he was with the
high
Tigers.
pick. He was a big
Yeah,
prospect.
yeah, I was a big fan of him.
Joey Wentz is transitioning from a starter to a reliever because he wasn't a reliever. We'll see how that. We don't know enough. He has to pitch more.
He was a reliever last year with the Tigers before.
But he
got
was
him.
bad, and then
he struggled,
came
but
to the
he was
Pirates.
solid with
He was
us.
but he's learning how to become a reliever.
Right.
So that's a work in progress, but there's potential there. Then you get, excuse me, I apologize. Then you get Ryan Baracki back.
Great.
Who-
Yeah.
I was saying that like why
When
don't they
he's
just, like,
healthy-
re-sign him,
Right.
like a minor
He was a
league
diamond in the rough in 2023. When he's healthy, he's good. And then you get Tim Meza, who he stunk with the Blue Jays. But that whole Blue Jays team last year
was a
stunk.
mess.
It was just
Yeah.
a mess. And
Yeah.
when he pitched 15 games with the Yankees last year and did solid. We know the pedigree there, right? And then you have Caleb Ferguson, another decent guy who
I like
has been
Yeah.
under the radar. So I feel like the collection of about 9 guys that Sherrington has beneath Holderman and Bednar, they're all high upside, low risk, high upside signings and guys who have been in the organization.
Yeah.
And that's how you build the bullpen, with low risk guys with depth.
You
And
can't
I think-
can't break the bank for a reliever for like 5
And
years.
I think
You
last
can't.
year, part of the problem was, well, guys got hurt, like Moreta got hurt, but part of the problem was we invested all of our chips into Chapman. And Chapman was good at times, but those Holderman, Bednar, and Chapman, that was what the bullpen was relied upon. It wasn't built upon the depth. And those 3 guys never gelled at the right time. And they never gelled. And the depth behind us, it just wasn't good enough. And you also have Hunter Stratton coming back. Speaking of depth, he'll be back
that's
at
right.
some point.
Yeah.
So as bad of an offseason this has been with Tim Meza and Ryan, I like where this. You look at the bullpen and the guys that they have, the options they have. I think that this bullpen is going to be decent. The big question is Holderman and Bednar going to bounce back? And
They need to.
the reason
Yeah,
I
they
have
really
hope
need to.
for all of our guys with high upside and Holderman and Bednar is the addition of Brent Strom. This guy is one of the best
That's what I was
relief
gonna say,
pitchers, or relief pitchers, best relief pitching coaches, best assisted pitching coaches. And this is my prediction. I think the Pirates are a top 8 bullpen this year.
That's not a hot take. If we're being
Well,
real,
but
it's not a hot take.
should. But last year we were saying they should be top 5, and they finished bottom
That's
in the 20s.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's it's entirely reliant upon Bednar and Holderman bounce. But Holderman, it was so weird with Holderman because he was throwing harder than he's ever thrown.
Yeah.
And it was just how did they hit that? I just always think about that Jock Peterson. That was such a tough pitch to hit, and he hit it the other way for a home run, that Arizona game.
I couldn't believe that.
That was
at
one
all.
of the games that really sunk the Pirates
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
Because they were winning that game.
That was
the
a
whole time.
10-game losing streak, right?
Yeah,
That was in the midst of. Wow.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
man, I feel like he's gonna bounce. I'm pretty confident. Bednar, I just don't know what the issue. I was really confused on what was.
And I worry
Yeah.
about, 'cause he's a thicker guy and he's had some back injuries. I worry about his injuries.
I have sort of not a theory, but I don't think the injury was the problem. To me, he has gone in 2023. I don't know if anyone notices this. He got so lucky pitching fastballs right down the middle and just
He always
getting
did
by
that.
with it. And in 2024, he was doing that, and now all of a sudden he was getting hit. He needs to realize that.
mislocation a lot
Yeah,
this year.
and with guys throwing 102 miles per hour, you go from Paul Skeens to David Bednar. Obviously, that's a huge difference in velocity trending downwards whenever you go to Bednar. He's not going to overpower you with their fastball anymore. So he needs to locate better on the corners, because if you throw a fastball right down the middle against major league hitters who are facing 100 mile per hour pitching, you're going to get crushed. And that's the problem. That's, in my opinion, what the problem was.
I agree. And I'd still like to see the Pirates get a veteran that's had success as of last
Yeah.
year.
Then you
right?
really got some depth.
And then
Kenley
you really have
Jansen.
depth,
Kenley
and-
Jansen. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. You
We're
bring in
going
a
through
Ken.
the names this guy.
Yeah.
Oh, he just signed with.
Yeah.
Bring in a Kenley Jansen, right? And if Holderman and Bednar are struggling, he can fill those roles.
Yeah.
I also think, though, if Tim Meza is back to his 2023 form or close to it, he
Imagine.
could also fill that role too as an 8th or 9th inning guy.
Yeah.
It was 287 ERA plus.
Yeah.
That's I could say.
Wow.
I thought you were about to say Tim Hill. If we
Dude,
get
we
Tim
should
Hill,
stop. No, we already have enough
Too many lefties.
lefties.
We do,
I
yeah.
love
I
Tim
thought you were
Hill.
about to say.
Oh,
The
man.
only lefty I would have liked more than Tim Meza is Tim Hill.
Tim Hill.
I love
that's
Tim
Connor
Hill.
Howard's guy, by the way. I don't know if you know
He
that.
had a great run there at the end.
All right, Jake Bell. So let's move. Oh, jeez. My vote is still. Let's
Let's talk Frazier.
Let's talk
let's talk
Frazier.
Frazier.
Let's talk
Down
Buckos.
goes
Let's
Frazier.
talk Frazier. And so I was being very, high on Ben Sherrington there with the whole what he's done with the bullpen. But other than that, this offseason has stunk. Bob Nutting is cheap. And
It's your future employer for those.
he's not. No,
Shut
do
up.
not say that. And yeah, and what they've done with this offense just doesn't make any sense. And I think what makes that signing worse is letting go of an additional bullpen piece like Alvarado, who could come up clutch in the future. Maybe he'll come back around, but I guarantee there'll be teams that'll grab him
Yeah.
and
Oh,
have
yeah.
him on the 40-man
100%.
because he's young. Yeah, Adam Frazier. Nate, I want you to start this one off because
initially, honestly, I think you guys probably agree. First reaction seeing that signing,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
what? I seen him out there as
It's like
free
bringing
agent.
Nate McClough back, but worse.
Yeah, what a guy. He had such a nice run.
He did.
But then It happened.
What a shame.
But yeah. So I was just really confused because we just have so many. Like, if there's one position we don't need to add more of, it's like the second base, shortstop, infield kind of thing. Because
I slightly disagree with that. But go ahead.
Okay.
I mean, but we'll say like to the degree of Adam Frazier instead of like
No,
I mean,
it,
like that's
it was
not
a good
the-
second baseman. Like,
Yeah.
But it's Frazier who's getting progressively worse every year, and he's going from team to team to team 1-year deals. I was surprised he got a major league contract honestly
Yeah.
this offseason.
Yeah.
I thought it was like because it's
But he's been around the block now. You know what I mean?
and he's
As a
the
performer.
versatility.
We love the pirate. Shelton is doing backflips right now
But,
over his versatility.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested. My initial thought was okay, so they don't trust IKF as an everyday shortstop. Also, maybe against righties, you get a Frazier at second and you get a Gonzo, move him to short.
Yeah.
Or-
That means Gonzalez is playing every day, and I don't trust him completely.
Well, maybe-
I don't.
But like
Yeah,
he's
but
so
sometimes-
clutch though. Like
But sometimes
it's-
IKF will
yeah.
be at short when
Yeah.
Frazier's at second. IKF's going to play a lot of shortstop. And Frazier, I swear though, if they don't get a right fielder and it's like Frazier for a
Oh.
lot, because he played right field with
what a
Kansas
joke.
City,
That would
that would be like
such
the
a
worst.
joke.
yeah.
But
You're starting right fielder.
I'm
for
honestly-
$1.15 or $1.5 million.
I just want to say I'm alright with the signing, and I love Adam Frazier. Out
Yeah.
goes Frazier.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm surprised he's become such a low. Like, I'll be interested to watch him because his swing was so compact and he made so much contact. He always hit
He
for a
tried-
higher
He
average.
used sacrifice. He wanted to get more power, and
Yeah.
and that's
Dude,
what
but
happens
like,
with a lot of hitters.
he
It's falling
had
off so much,
power
though.
in 2023. He was an average hitter, and he hit 13 home runs. That's your power. I mean,
Yeah.
go back to what you do best. I don't get that
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like, even though there's probably like unfortunately 20 hitters on this team that had a better season than Frazier last year, Frazier. I mean, who knows? Maybe he like the familiarity with the Pirates, but I don't think there's too much high upside. I don't think
Imagine-
he's an everyday player, but like
If he goes
I don't
back to
know.
like remember every year he was like 275.
10 homers and 275
yeah.
for $1.5 million, I'm taking that any day.
If he hits
so.
275 regardless of
Yeah.
how many homers,
Oh, yeah.
like
that's a win. That's 100%.
He hasn't come close to that.
He
in
has
3
not.
years.
I
Yeah,
know.
he has not.
But like that was like what he did like early on with the Pirates. We were always like he could even do a little better. And then he had the out
Yeah.
of nowhere the 324.
Yeah, and that's when you got to trade him. Everyone's like, "Oh, we traded
That
him
was
in
a
his prime."
great job.
Yeah, everyone was like, "Oh,
We
we
got
traded him in his
Sawinski.
But
prime."
we got,
Yeah.
but what we got
Everyone's
back
like, "Oh,
was-
we trade these guys in their prime, and then we bring them back whenever they're washed." It's like, do you guys realize the situation at the time? Like,
yeah.
Frazier was gonna get traded no matter what, and then going in like his best half year ever, you're gonna trade him for his peak value. Like that's his peak. Like that's what you gotta do. So
Yeah, so
I don't
that's
know.
all I gotta say. I mean, it's nice to see him back, but realistically, is he going to play a big role? He shouldn't play a big role unless
Yeah.
like something catastrophic happens, or he just lights the world on fire this year,
yeah,
which I don't
Yeah,
really see.
I've been saying because I don't trust Gonzalez. I don't trust his swing. I don't trust IKF. Obviously, I've been saying like, and I know we have other guys, in the organization, and but they're never used. Triolo, he has a great glove, but like we know he can't really hit. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, Key Brian
he has the
Hayes is
ability
back.
to. He
Key
just
Brian
didn't
Hayes
last
is
year.
bad.
Yeah.
But like we have a bunch of middle infielders, but none of them to me are proven hitters. And I've been saying this offseason, we need to add a legitimate hitter, and Adam Frazier, 4 years ago would have been is a great pickup.
Yeah.
And I like Adam Frazier. I think he's a pro, he's a veteran, he's gonna play good defense. But what he provides with the bat, like if that's your addition, your middle infield addition, you could have done so much better than that. So much better than that. It just goes to show the refusal to spend. And this thing with bringing back, McCutcheon obviously is a little different, but we'll bring back a guy who played for us. It's just like, I just don't get it. I just don't really I've been saying they need a middle infielder, but this to me was not the move at all. Unless, if Adam Frazier can do what he did in 2023, which was be pretty average and hit 13 home runs, that would be okay. But I would rather him hit less power and go back to hitting
I agree.
270, 280.
I agree.
But I don't think, at this point, he's 33 years old. Is he going to he's just getting his money and playing ball. Like, I mean, is he really gonna go back to what he was doing before?
Right.
He's getting paid $1.5 million. So let's do a comparison. So we have the Pittsburgh Pirates and we have the Cincinnati Reds, right? Cincinnati Reds, you know, they had a below average manager. They go out and they get Terry Francona. They have the young kid in De La Cruz. They have a good pitching staff. Similar situation the Pirates, but they adapt. They get a different manager.
Really good shortstop, Matt
Yeah.
McClain.
And Matt McClain will be back. I forgot.
Him and
about
Noelvi
Really
Marte, if he plays the potential, I mean, that could be.
Right?
Suspension kind
Yeah.
of.
So they have some young talent on the offense and the pitching staff, right? You get a veteran manager like Francona. This team is you know, they saw what happened last year and they said this is unacceptable. The Pirates don't make any changes whatsoever to their front office or anything. And Shelton, I don't like hate Shelton, but like we could do a lot better than Shelton. And then we look at the same day, right? Adam Frazier, you know, we sign Adam Frazier. And what do the Reds do? They sign Austin Hayes
Your boy.
Yeah.
for $5 million. And I've been saying this guy could be your starting right fielder. If you look at his years in Baltimore and you look at what he's done, just what he's done in Baltimore, he was an all-star in 2023. Last year he had a bad year, mainly due to injury. And if you're the Pirates, how are you not? This is a young player, still has a lot in the tank. How are you not throwing $7-8 million at this guy? And meanwhile, you let him go to your division rival when you are desperately in need of at least 2 outfielders. And I know Adam Frazier can play right field, but like, come on, like he should be a bench guy, and he should primarily be an infielder. And it just goes to show, like, I think the Reds are going to be with Francona. You get a really underrating signing in Austin Hayes. And that pitching staff and Ellie De La Cruz, the Reds are going to be what the Pirates are supposed to be this year. And that's really a shame. It's really a shame. You know, I like our starting pitching. I think our bullpen's going to improve. But this offense, there have not been any improvements, significant improvements.
Imagine Reds Pirates. It's like close late. Who do you try? Terry Francona bullpen management versus Derek Shelton.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
And the Cubs the Cubs aren't going anywhere. The Brewers, they haven't done
Cardinals,
much this
they should be
offseason,
there,
but we know they're always in it.
Yeah.
The Cardinals are they're trying to get rid of Arenado,
They're trying to tank him.
Yeah.
which is unusual for the
Yeah.
Cardinals, but I
Yeah.
think it's the right move.
They should.
It's the right
They haven't
move.
spent a penny in free
Yeah.
agency.
But like, if you look like this Pirates organization, like to me, it's still like at least 4th, if not 5th, in the division. Like in terms of who do I trust more, and based on the off seasons they've had. But well, yeah, let's hang the banner, ladies and gentlemen. Right in Bob Nutting's heart, Adam Frazier, $1.5 million.
All right. Well.
Banner hanged. Banner hanged.
We gotta get up.
We gotta get some tape. That's okay.
All right.
We'll put it there.
Real quick.
Trivia.
For 5 minutes trivia, real quick. So, you know how we played the Pitt quarterback game?
Hooked.
It is now time for running backs. My
Ooh, that's a good list.
My top 5 Pitt running backs since the 2016
Pitt is RBU.
season.
RBU.
Since the 2016 season up until now, top 5 running backs. You guys can use your phone.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys can collectively do this if you want.
Are we doing this together?
You can if you want. Yeah, like you guys did
Yeah.
last time. So try and do this in order.
Okay, so
So wait, is this of all time or just guys
Since
that you
2016.
watched?
Yeah, since I started
2016?
really watching. Yeah, since the 2016 season, top 5 Pitt running
I'm
backs.
pretty sure James Conner's won. Okay.
I feel like, didn't we do this already?
Quarterbacks.
We did
We did quarter.
We did
Okay.
quarterbacks.
We were close. We were really close.
You guys were
We
really
had it.
close with.
We
Yeah,
had it,
you
and
guys
we
had the
flipped
order
it.
at one point. Yeah, you did. Running backs. I think you guys can get this. I think out of all the
All right,
position
so
groups, this is it.
James Conner's number 1. I 100% agree.
What about Abanikanda?
Bieta well, we have to consider Quadriolus
Yeah, I know, but
and Hall, right? What was
Darren
it?
Hall.
Darren Hall.
yeah.
So,
They'll
but
be
let's
on
just
there.
list names. So we have Connor, Darren Hall, Quadriolus, Israel Abanikanda, and
Oh, wait, but okay, that's a wild card.
what about the guy
What about Des Reed?
Des Reed? I think he should be in the top 5.
Where does he go? Where is he in the mix? I mean, he's a special player.
Abanikanda.
He was this,
Quadriolus, All right, what do you think?
I think Jake Bell values Abanikanda because I just remember, I don't know, that 2022 season, he really helped salvage that team with Keaton Slovis. That was just, and that.
I feel like Abanikanda is like 3 or 4. I don't think he's 5.
No.
Would Des Reed be 5th because he's only been here for a year?
I don't know. That's interesting.
And then what about
Very
Quadriolison?
Quadriolous's ahead of
Darren
Darren
Hall.
Hall. Put him at 5. I think Darren Hall at 5
Okay.
because he was the lesser of the two backs we had at the time.
All right.
I like Quadriolic. He might have Quadriolus. I don't know. That's what I like. But
2,
I think
3,
you like
4 is tough.
Quadriolus.
Yeah, I think we got the first. I think we got 1 and 5 right. Because Hall was a 1,000-yard rusher.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not missing any. I think
Rodney
we
Hammond.
have. I think. Oh, no.
No, I'm joking.
I think if we have we have the 5 guys. It's just the order.
I think we do.
So Connor's 1.
I want to see.
I think Abanikanda 3.
Okay. That sounds like I agree. I think that sounds like a good. Who was our lead? Israel Adesanya.
Oh, we could just look up Pitt running backs just to be sure.
Oh, I got some news too that just came in also.
Like regarding what?
Colorado State is bringing in former Pittsburgh Steelers GM Kevin Colbert as a consultant.
They're getting the Steeler away
Dude,
now.
they're tired of losing to Dion.
Yeah.
They're tired of getting Kevin Colbert.
Oh,
Part
my.
of the school's push to stay at the forefront for the new era of college football. Colorado State at the forefront.
That's insane.
But okay, I'm getting I just seen that
And afterwards, I have the full list of every single running back that played at least a little bit in order, so I can go through that whenever you guys get your top 5.
So 2021, I thought Abanikanda had more of a. Who was the lead back? 2021, they had.
The trio was Vincent Davis, Abanikanda, and Hammond. Yeah, so Vincent Davis had the most carries on the team. Then when Abanikanda, then
Vincent
Hammond.
Davis, he might be. You might sneak Vincent Davis on there because he's a.
Did he ever run
maybe.
for 1,000 yards?
Yeah, but he was a true Pitt man. He was there the whole time, and then it was just like.
He went to.
It doesn't matter. He didn't do any. If he didn't.
then he was like,
he was a backup.
I know, but he was like a fun guy. And,
He's with UNLV.
Yeah.
So he's not a true Pitt guy.
No, but that was once his. That was
He's-
like once you knew.
Dude,
like,
we've had
okay.
so many good. There's no way he's in the top 5.
Okay.
Come on, no.
All right. Okay.
If Darren Hall is 5th, he ran for 1,000 yards.
I know, but it's not purely statistical, right, Jake Bell? There's many factors. That
But
go-
why did I take Darren Hall?
There's a mix of everything. Nothing's off the table, but I truly believe these are the 5 best
I think
in order, in my
I think
opinion.
we put Quadriolus in 2nd,
Okay.
Abanikanda 3rd, and Des Reed 4.
Okay.
Maybe we should put Des Reed 3.
He's just such a specimen.
Let's put Des Reed 3.
I don't know. Yeah, but
We gotta make a decision. I'll go with you, buddy.
I'll go with you, buddy.
No, you, buddy.
you, buddy.
buddy. Okay, Des Reed.
All right, so you got Connor.
Connor 1. Darren Hall 5.
Okay, wait.
Who
2
we
is
got?
Olson.
2, you want to go with Olison?
Yeah.
Okay, Quadriolison. Okay, 3
He was so good. 3.
It's either between Reed or Abanikanda.
And-
Abanikanda.
That's a coin. Flip.
He loved Des Reed.
I know. Everyone loves Desmond.
Everyone loves Desmond.
I just remember Abanikanda just running down. I remember the Virginia Tech game, and he was just. Remember he had like 4. How many?
Are we
yards
going
did
to
he have?
Abanikanda 3?
Oh, jeez. I'm gonna make the wrong decision. I was the one who screwed it up last time.
I'm gonna go with Abanikanda 3.
Okay.
I think we're gonna.
Okay.
Because, Des Reed is 5'7". He's played 1 year. Let's halt the break. He was great, but let's halt the brakes. Okay, Des Reed 3. 4, I mean.
Was Olsen? He was on the 2018 team,
Yep.
right?
He
When they
yeah.
got-
Is that
Okay,
is that the
that's the
final
list.
list? All right. I'll give you guys the results, and I'll check my notes just to double check. But I know what I did, but I'm gonna
It's
double
way
check just
wrong.
in case.
Do we have the 5?
I will give you that. Yep.
We
you
have
guys
all
do have
5.
the 5.
I was
Okay.
thinking like Vincent.
The
Davis.
order is probably
You
wrong.
like Vincent Davis, right, Jay? He was a nice. Like, he was a fun.
I didn't mind him.
Oh,
I didn't
really?
mind him. I mean, I wouldn't.
I liked him
You
more
know.
than most, I think. 'cause
Yeah,
I-
you're
I always-
All right,
you see,
You're
um,
trying to sneak him on there. I'm like, no way.
Apparent. Oh wait, yes I do. Okay, so you guys have the right 5. I'll go from 5 to 1. 5. I actually had Desmond Reed, and this is why it was just too early. He's fantastic, but there's
Bro, we were
the
thinking
4
about
guys.
putting him at 3. At
Yeah.
least we didn't put him at 3.
I mean, but the 4 guys.
We had him at 4.
Yeah, but the 4 guys up, I really like. Number 4, I had to put Darren Hall. I mean, as a second running back, for him to average over 7 yards a carry his last season and be very productive in his college career,
That's
I mean, that was insane. And every time I watched him play, he broke off on a 70-yard run in that 2018 season. It was, especially during that winning streak, it was incredible.
Carrying the team.
Yeah. And 3 and 2, I was so stuck on how to do this, but I think I came to the right conclusion. Number 3, I put Quadri Olesen.
Oh wow.
And he was fantastic. He had 2 1,000 rushing yard seasons. Obviously, his last season, the stiff arm to Virginia Tech. But there is another guy who even performed better against Virginia Tech
I know he
somehow.
had that big game.
And that's Abanikanda at
Yeah.
number 2.
I
It's
remember
just,
That's
that
what it's
game
based
so
on.
well.
Who played better
I
against
it wasn't.
Virginia
That
Tech.
wasn't it. But I mean, yeah, no. But Abanikanda, he was unbelievable. I mean, for him, he could break off on any run as this short guy who under like stocky, and he just found ways to make plays. I mean, Abanikanda was unbelievable to watch
That
live.
game
I
was
watched
so-
him.
So we
yeah.
had to switch Abanikanda and Olsen
And then
Reed and Hall.
And of course, I mean,
James
this
Conner's
list would
number 1.
I would be a
Yeah,
fraudulent Pitt fan if I didn't say that James
Yeah,
Conner's
he
one.
was.
He was
Yeah.
absolutely unbelievable. The best running back I've ever watched since I really started diving
We
into
weren't
Pitt.
far off. That's just
You guys
two
were not.
flips.
Yeah,
That's
not
just
at all.
Two flips.
Do you-
And you can make an argument either way for
Yeah.
I mean, Des Reed, you could put him.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah. And do you want me to go through the rest of the running backs that I've listed? Just
Why
Is
not?
Vincent
So
Davis
I didn't count Quadri Henderson or Malik Carter as running backs just because they kind of did both. But number 6, I
That
had
guy was a beast
he
returner,
was,
Henderson.
Yeah.
But for number 6, I had Rodney Hammond. I just think he was always productive, even though he wasn't really that main back.
Pitt screwed him
yeah.
up. They just didn't play.
And then 7, I had Vincent Davis. Other than a couple fumbling issues, he was always pretty decent. And then number 8, I had Daniel Carter. He really came on to me late. I was
was
like,
a
he's
big
more of a
Pitt
fullback.
guy.
Yeah,
He was there
I
every
like him.
year.
Yeah. Number 9 is Sebo Flemister. He was, whatever. Like he was good, but like he wasn't. Last year, he wouldn't have started that many games if we didn't have that bad of a roster. Number 10 is Todd Sibley. I always thought he should have got more carries. I like Sibley a lot. Did great things at Albany. So I have him at 10. Number 11, I had AJ Davis. I wasn't really impressed with him.
Yeah.
He was a good 4-yard to carry, but like for a big back, just wasn't very
Should have done a little
powerful.
more.
You're right.
He was.
Number 12, I had Shantez Moss. Like I thought he could have been pretty decent for us, but then he transferred. It was a weird situation with him.
Oh.
Then the next, they're kind of guys that haven't done anything.
Derek Davis.
Michael Salahudin, Derek Davis, and then Montravius
Oh,
Lloyd.
Cabot Flemister.
Sebo Flemister, yeah.
Just-
Yeah, I did. I did just say that. But no,
I was
it's all
thinking
good.
a banner.
Yeah.
I'm hanging a banner to end the.
Yeah.
I had to hang a banner.
But I think that's a good way to end the episode.
Well, wait, you
'cause-
gotta hang a banner.
we do have to
for
hang a
another
banner.
banner for Bob Nutting.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Johan Oviedo
Yes.
went to arbitration.
he did.
Yes.
850. He wanted 1.15 million. The Pirates said no. We need to save $200,000. 850,000 is all Johan you're gonna get, buddy. Yes, we're saving that money, baby. Way to go, Bob.
All right. Well, I think
hang
that.
it up.
Yeah, he's coming for Soto. Well,
Cashman.
speaking of Cashman, watch Have a Shift Day after you watch
We're
this.
gonna get him a trophy
We
for
are.
winning some sort of
Yes.
something for winning the,
Yes.
the contest this year.
Yeah.
We're gonna give him something.
We are. But that's all
Give him
for.
a banner.
Oh, yeah.
But-
You'll get this. You'll get this.
But thank you guys so much for watching. That's all for We're a Family 23. Thank you so much for adjusting to what we've had to adjust to. We'll see you guys
A lot
next
of
week. A lot of
adjustments.
adjustments, but we'll see you guys next week.
Adios.